I just want to really take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this ribbon cutting. Many of you are already familiar with Urban Edge, but I'll take a few minutes just to talk about who we are and what we do. Urban Edge, commonly known as a community development corporation, we've been around for over 50 years. We're one of the many organizations that came out of the organizing that helped stop the highway here in Roxbury. And one of the things that still is part of our DNA is that we really focus on the residents who need our support the most, and that we don't do things alone. We work closely with residents, entrepreneurs, government, in order to try to find the best solutions to give everyone an opportunity for them to be successful. Our general program areas, which we're here today, is to talk about our real estate development, which will be the focus of today. But we also have our community programs, which we have a wonderful team that actually works really hard to help residents both in Boston and beyond build wealth. A lot of it focuses on first-time home buying, working miracles in this market, as we all know. But we also work by helping people begin to have savings, where we have a match savings program. We also work to help people increase their credit, because we understand that in order for people to be successful, it's not just about them learning how to manage their money better, but it's also them understanding the opportunities and what they need to do, like workforce development, which is why we have a partnership with JVS to make sure that while people are getting financial coaching, that they have an opportunity to address what their goals are and begin to think about the long term. Then we have the work that we do out of our community engagement department. We have a great team. Last year we created the Roxbury Affordable Housing Collective, made up of a number of different resident leaders and organizations to be able to support the work of rent control, rent stabilization. We also work closely with all of our residents across all of our 1,500 units to make sure that they have access to resources. If they're falling behind in their rent, that they have someone to talk to and to help them identify potential resources. And also just to really make sure that we're giving them leadership development opportunities. We have a number of very active resident associations that they have no fear in giving me a call or stopping by the office. But I welcome it because, as I said, we don't do things alone. We work with community, and that's how we've been able to do the work that we've done over the past 50 years. And finally, real estate. This is what we're here for. I am so happy to be able to talk about this building. Long time coming, and we'll hear more about that later. But we've had a number of people who have been involved and engaged in this property, in developing this property since 2016. I know I see a few people. We'll meet a number of the lenders and financial institutions that have helped make this happen. But I also see Emily is here, who was a longtime director, and played a major role. I didn't see Sharon, which is another project manager. Where's Sharon? Oh, there she goes. Hey, Sharon, how are you? The reason I point this out, that the typical affordable housing project can take anywhere between 5 to 7 years, from the time it's a concept to the time when you're breaking ground. This one was a little bit longer, but you'll learn why in a minute. But we're just so very happy, and then you'll get a chance to meet our current real estate team, which really took this home and did an excellent job in not only making the vision possible, but making it a reality. Now, what is so special about this building? Well, gosh, there's a lot. One, I think what's really interesting is that we were fortunate enough where we have the opportunity to dedicate this name of this building to Betty Greene. For some of you who may have known her, she was a force of nature, a longtime Urban Edge board member, member of the Tenant Association at Academy Homes 1. And just walking up today, I heard yet another story about Betty Greene from 30 years ago. And so there are so many people who she touched and she influenced, we are very, very pleased to be able to have this stand as a momentous moment to say, thank you, Betty, for all that you did for this community. But we also have things that the current residents can enjoy. So the building itself is 65 units, 60% AMI and below are all of the residents. But we also have well over a third that are for the very, very low income, 30% AMI. Because the reality is this, I think we all believe this because we do this work all the time, that in order for people to be successful in life and to take advantage of the opportunities, one of the minimum things that they need is access to safe, stable, and high quality, affordable housing. It's not the solution to every problem, but it's the beginning of the solution to most problems. And so we need to just continue doing this. So in addition to having a community room, laundry facilities, a bike rack, we also are fortunate enough where this is Urban Edge's first passive house project. And for those of you who aren't familiar, passive house is a way of construction that allows a building to be highly energy efficient and saves many costs for both the resident and for the owner of the building. My understanding is that this is going to become the standard for most affordable housing developments, and we're just happy to be able to contribute to being able to move that forward. The last thing I'll say is that when I think about our work, we have 3 different departments, but we also have the folks behind the scenes, our communications and fundraising staff, our finance staff who are busy at the office because this is check cutting day and you know people want to get their money. When I say we don't do things alone, I don't just mean externally outside the organization. I also mean that inside the organization. Because for example, for this project, our community engagement team spent numerous hours outreaching, talking to neighborhood associations, getting their input, working with them in order to make sure that the values and opinions of the community were part of this. Our community programs, day in and day out, they are helping people prevent foreclosure, helping people become first-time home buyers, and getting out of debt. These are the things that build a reputation and a level of trust that allows us to go into places and people already know what we stand for. So I want to really thank the entire Urban Edge team for all of the work that they do, and want to thank all of you for being here. Next, I would like to introduce Bill Bronner, who's the Director of Real Estate at Urban Edge.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to echo Emilio's welcome and say how glad we are that you are all here to help us celebrate the creation of Betty Greene Apartments, 65 affordable units. I've only been at Urban Edge for a little over a year, but getting to this point with this building has taken quite a long time, and a lot of talented people to get us here. So I want to take a minute to just start at the beginning and share a bit about how this project came to be. This site started out as 6 different parcels. Going back 10 years ago, the area contained 2 distressed buildings, as well as open space, some of which was used for parking. Although I can't say when the concept first started, the first major step was the purchase of a portion of the property, including where you are all sitting, in 2016. This was followed by a second major purchase, which is basically this area, in January of 2018. Certainly recognition goes to CDAC for the acquisition loans that took place during this time, and especially to Sarah Barkin, who led the underwriting. Thanks also to the Life Initiative, who provided pre-development lending during this time. So as a side note, in addition to these two big parcels, there was also a third parcel over here in the corner where we anticipated doing affordable housing. It was a parcel owned by the city, and at the end of the day, the city did transfer the lot to Urban Edge earlier this year, but it's going to be a park and not housing. And so thanks so much to MOH and the city for the funding, and we will be able to begin construction later this year on the park. I also want to share a somewhat sad story. It's the one that got away, if you will. In the spring of 2020, Urban Edge had under agreement that building over there, 1589 Columbus. And there was a hope that that could be part of this whole complex. But thanks to COVID and all of the issues of trying to get a deal done in 2020, that didn't happen. But nonetheless, a little over 2 years later, in the late summer of 2022, this project did close and begin construction, and now is what you see today. So lots of kudos to so many people who were involved. Emilio mentioned Sharon and Emily. I'd like to add Caitlin Madden and Caitlin Coppinder in addition, but there were many, many more who helped bring it together. So with that, I want to move on, and this is Betty Greene Apartments. And Betty's son is here today, Brian Greene, and so would like to have him come up and say a few words.
Good morning. Let me start by saying God is good. I want to thank Urban Edge for this. My mother was a community warrior. For those of you that knew her, she was like a neighborhood bulldog. If it involved the neighborhood, good or bad, she was with it, or against it, she fought to the end for it. Many years, she had me out there doing stuff, passing out flags, doing this, doing that, painting. But it was all about community for her. She never gave up. Many a day. I just want to thank Urban Edge for this. Your legacy lives on. Thank you.
So the mayor is not here yet. We'll be deviating from our program a little bit. So I'd like to invite Jennifer Maddox to come up next. Jennifer is the Deputy Secretary at EOHLC.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Emilio. I bring greetings from Secretary Augustus, who really wishes he could be here with all of you today. And what an exciting day to celebrate. We celebrate 65 units of housing we so desperately need. And we celebrate that 100% of those units are 100% income-restricted affordable apartments. We celebrate this beautiful development that is just the latest in a long line of ongoing efforts to revitalize the entire community. Jackson Square is a story of community spirit. More than 500 homes were demolished in the neighborhood for the construction of the Southwest Expressway, a project that was stopped thanks to the protests and activists, and notably community organizers like the late, great Mel King. Today, we recognize Betty Greene's legacy and continue that spirit of community by coming together to create beautiful homes where two distressed buildings once stood. The Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities is proud to join Mayor Wu and the City of Boston, Urban Edge, Mass Housing, MHIC, First Citizens Bank, MHP, and HUD to play a part in that revitalization. The Betty Greene apartments will provide opportunities for generations for families to make their home in a highly desirable neighborhood that's close to public transit, job centers, healthcare providers, and other valuable community amenities. And they will live in a highly resilient and energy-efficient building that is built to passive house standards that are in line with state and city climate goals. This neighborhood is a perfect example of the transformative power of transit-oriented housing development. Along with major initiatives like the Affordable Homes Act and the Amputee Communities Law, and increased financing for projects just like this one, Massachusetts is leading the way to ending the housing crisis and creating communities where we all can live with pride and dignity. Because we're not just building housing units, we're building homes that nurture the health and vitality of the community. Thank you and congratulations.
So I'm going to be mentioning people throughout this morning that have been part of it, part of the development. I do want to ask, is Sam Montano here? Okay. Rep. Montano was on the list, and Councilor Ben Weber, you may have caught him. He just ducked out, but he did want to come in briefly. So I want to go through a few of the many, many, many people who have been involved with this. Apologies in advance if you were part of this team and I don't mention your name, but I'm going to try. So starting out with our architects, they designed this gorgeous building. Kyle Belcher, Nick Behrens, Matthew Little. Thank you. Our owner's rep or construction manager, Matt Munkenbeck. He provided so much support. Our landscape architects, G2, Lisa Gerbach and Gigi Saltonstall. Niche Engineering, Stephen Ventresca and Katie, Kumundros. I got that wrong, but sorry, Katie. Our legal team, Joe Lieber, Ross Peeney, and Jacob Taylor. The Bald Hill Builders team, and these are a few of the main people of the many, many. Brenda Lorenza, Matt Grosshandler, Nate Plowman, Todd Small, David Perez, and Mitchell Littlefield. And of course, the Urban Edge team. So many people, as Emilio mentioned, I can't say all of their names, but I do want to at least recognize the real estate team. So it's Joanna Silvario Romy, Russell Pandras, Joanna Brown, Kathleen McGee, and especially the main project manager for this project, who did such an exemplary job throughout the construction period, Rebecca Klanschasser. And also want to mention the Wynn residential team. In a sense, they're just getting started because the project isn't quite yet in operations, but Deetra McGovern, Dominique Butler, Katie and Mullins, and Nick Valdez are some of the Wynn folks that will be working on this project. So thank you all. Next up, I'd like to introduce Mark Teeden. Mark is the Vice President of Multifamily Programs at Mass Housing.
Last time I did one of these, and there were these colored balloons on a windy day, just as I got up to speak, the whole thing collapsed. So I'm a little mindful. Bill, thank you. Emilio, thank you, and congratulations. You'll all be happy to know that most of what I had to say, Bill said. And I'm getting severe pressure from my boss and the head of housing for the city of Boston to shorten my remarks. And it's okay, my hands are too cold to hold the paper anyway. But I do want to thank Urban Edge and acknowledge our relationship. We have this now our 7th deal with you, going on a long time. As has been mentioned, we share staff with you, both current and from your alumni ranks, of course, our CEO at Mass Housing. And I hope you also enjoy and have contributions from Mass Housing by member on your board. So we're delighted with that. I'm glad Bill mentioned Bald Hill. Sometimes the contractors don't get enough credit. This, as we heard, the length of time to do this project, it actually came to, the financial closing came right in the middle of COVID. We thought we knew like what most of the problems were, but we didn't. And so that's why we're a little late on this event today than maybe was scheduled. But it really was an amazing effort. Time is a devastating impact on construction projects, and both the design and construction teams, from our point of view, just did an amazing job keeping this together. I doubt they got paid for all their hours, but they did an amazing job keeping this together to bring us here to today. Mass Housing's work is also done in conjunction with, and I will try to actually do this even though I'm shaking because it's so cold. We're actually, we always do our work in conjunction with other funding sources. In this case, there are some 16 that were, the papers are even frozen together. This is that like, that slippery copy paper that, you know, it's, anyway. EOHLC, our partner in so many things in so many ways. MHIC, Eastern Bank, CDAC, the City of Boston, also in many ways. The Affordable Housing Trust, which we manage on behalf of the state, Mass Housing Partnership, First Citizens, and Mass CEC. And that's the number of players, but the number of sources within that is even larger. And it's a remarkable combination that has to come together to pull this off. Of course, I'm standing here on behalf of the agency, but I don't do the work of, that brings the agency's efforts to life. And we have several here today. I'd like you to raise your hand. Of course, Emily Loomis, who is now on both sides of this transaction, is here. Liz Valenta, Sebastian Zapata. Not here is Jeff Geller, Michelle Vinciguerra, Dan Staring, Matt Deitch, and of course, our legal team, et cetera, and others supported this. And again, without their work, the mission of the agency, or it is through their work that the mission of the agency comes to life. So, Emilio, on behalf of Mass Housing, thank you for the opportunity to share in this celebration. Congratulations to all who had a hand in its creation. And most importantly, congratulations to the tenants who will live here coming up over the next several months, probably many of whom don't even know who they are yet. So that's really, really exciting and the reason why we're all here. So congratulations.
Next up, I'd like to introduce Clark Ziegler. He's the Executive Director of the Mass Housing Partnership.
So I will also talk fast, knowing that Crystal and Sheila will give me the eye if I've gone on too long. We're thrilled to be providing the permanent mortgage financing for Betty Greene Apartments, and it's part of an innovative financing structure with Mass Housing, Eastern Bank, and First Citizens. And it's the kind of thing we'd love to do much more of. I checked the Wayback Machine, and it was 21 years ago to the day that Mosa Kokobian and Richard Thal reached out, hi Mosa, to say they had this great plan for Jackson Square and were looking for some seed funding and public support from MHP. We took the plunge along with some other intrepid early lenders, and there were a few detours along the way, and here we are. And I have to say, we've had the opportunity to finance tens of thousands of affordable units all over the Commonwealth, and that includes sort of major neighborhood redevelopment strategies, not just in Boston, but also in places like Chelsea and Worcester and Springfield and New Bedford. And I can say without any hesitation, what's happened in Jackson Square, what we see with this building behind us and all around us, is bolder and more impactful and more successful than any other neighborhood strategy we've had the privilege of being involved with. This is a really big deal in the history of, community development in Massachusetts, and we're thrilled to have played even a small part in that. So congratulations to Urban Edge, to the residents of the building, to everyone in the neighborhood, and to everybody who turned this idea into reality. Thanks.
We're moving fast, don't worry. So thanks, Clark. Next up is Peter Hollins. He's the managing director for First Citizens Bank.
I brought gloves. I actually thought we were done with the overcoats. I was hoping, but yes, Peter Hollins from First Citizens Bank. Everybody's talked about the time it took to do this, and we're so excited to be here at the end of the game. Sharon is here, Emily is here. We wrote the letter of interest for this when we were a Boston Private Bank. We closed the deal when we were Silicon Valley Bank, and now we're here at the ribbon cutting as First Citizens Bank, and I'm glad to be here throughout. And I'm also glad that First Citizens Bank is being named as one of the banks that routinely does this, because we do that, and we have kept on the legacy that Boston Private started for a long time, supporting affordable housing and financing affordable housing. And we're so glad to have been part of a lot of the buildings that you can see right from your seats here. Over there, there's like this whole Jackson Square area, as others have been saying, is transformed since a lot of my old friends who are here started out years ago. Crystal, hi, good to see you. Sheila. So I wanted to thank Eastern Bank, which I know Mark or Clark also did. They're a crucial part of it and our partner in the financing of the debt on this property. We were also involved in, as Monty will tell you, the investment, the LIHTC investment here. And I wanted to recognize my colleagues who are here. We've got Sarah Lamity, who's an old friend from Boston Private days. We've got Brendan Betez, Steph Eliscar, and the amazing Florence Lee is here somewhere, who actually runs our bank from her seat in the Community Development Finance Group. Well, also Carla Santos is supposed to be here. I haven't seen her yet. But anyway, we're so grateful to be involved with all of these projects, and this one in particular. So thank you, Urban Edge, for letting us be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, I know all of the various banks that you've worked for. I came up here because I want to really recognize a leader. But before I do that, there are two leaders that I did not recognize. As many people know, Mosaic is here, and so is Crystal. A lot of the work that we do today wouldn't be possible, without the foundation that they helped to create. So this is really appropriate that we are now naming this Betty Greene, who's been named and called a warrior. Today I want to recognize another warrior, someone who not only respects, understands the community, but is willing to put on the shining armor, ride to DC, and defend the values that we hold dear. I've seen the commitment that she's made to affordable housing, ranging from projects like this to some of the projects on Blue Hill that are meant to be for first-time homebuyers, but also to help MWBEs become developers. I can go on and on probably for the next 20 minutes, but I want to make sure that as we're a little chilly, that we get the mayor up. So with that, I want to introduce the leader of this city, Mayor Michelle Wu.
Thank you so much, and good morning. I'm so grateful for the very kind introduction, and very excited to see all of you, and especially to see Mr. Greene here. Hello, Brian. Thank you for representing the family and for all that you do. And I won't go through the whole list because I know everyone's been here for a while. Thank you to everyone who's been thanked already. And thank you to our teams at the city and the state level. We are here today because housing continues to be a top priority for not just our administration, but for our entire community. And we hear that throughout all the neighborhoods of Boston. And under our chief of housing, the best chief of housing in the country, and her team, thank you, Sheila. It is about getting housing built and also getting it right. That means building housing that is actually affordable, housing that is sustainable, housing that doesn't compromise on the kind of city we want to leave to our children and our grandchildren. It's about housing that serves the residents and families here in the neighborhood and connects them to the resources that they need when they leave the walls of their home and their sanctuary out across the block and across the city. In other words, we are committed to building the kind of housing based on thoughtful community building that Miss Betty Greene dedicated her life to. We've already heard reference that Miss Betty was a warrior. And I am told that, Brian could confirm this, that if she were here today, she might say, "I ain't done yet." Because she never stopped fighting for residents to get what they needed to thrive, for education and jobs, libraries, opportunities for our young people, and housing like the apartments we're celebrating today, right across the street from where Miss Betty Greene raised her own family. So it's only right that the apartments that will carry on her legacy are income restricted, permanently affordable. They meet the highest environmental standards. They're built with community in mind, near public transit, and with commercial space on the ground floor for places to gather, have fun, and meet up with community. We're also excited about the 2 new green spaces in the neighborhood. That this isn't just an investment in housing. It is in the entire community and will help families put down their roots and get to know their neighbors. That's what the Jackson Square neighborhood deserves, and it's what we're trying to do all across the city. This team at the City of Boston has helped build more than 11,000 new units across the city, including the most affordable homes in a generation. We've protected and preserved thousands of affordable homes through the Boston Acquisition Fund and the Acquisition Opportunity Program. We're updating our zoning code. We've significantly cut down the time it takes to permit new affordable housing, and we're not done yet. And just a few weeks ago, we announced the launch of a co-purchasing pilot program that will make it even easier for families and friends to put down roots in our city by co-purchasing homes with assistance from the city. Jackson Square is a testament to what is possible when we do housing right, when we listen to our residents because they know what they need and what our community needs. Over the past 2 decades, we've seen a neighborhood that was once leveled by urban renewal reinvent itself. We've seen what happens when we invest in thoughtful mixed income development near transit, community spaces, green spaces, and jobs. And what happens is the community thrives. We know there's still much more work to do, and the city and our teams will work closely with community to continue investing in this neighborhood and in every neighborhood across the city until every family is connected to the kind of community, resources, and opportunities that would make Miss Betty Greene proud. It's a high standard, but truly making Boston a home for everyone demands nothing less. And so I want to thank all of our partners here for having the vision to work hard, roll up your sleeves, and to keep doing that alongside us because we got a lot more to go. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mayor Wu. Next up is Madi Chori. Madi is the Chief Executive Officer of MHIC, the Mass Housing Investment Corporation.
Hey, Madi. How's it going? Hello, everybody. I took off my hat because Emilio didn't wear his hat. So, so I will be brief, but congratulations to Urban Edge and to all the partners, to everybody, the entire alphabet soup of great partners and the great ecosystem that we have here in Massachusetts. This is a fantastic project. We've done so many that my staff they were trying to go back in history to find all the projects that we've done together, but it's been a tremendous partnership, and again, congratulations.
Yes, put the hat on, Marty. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Our final speaker today is Roger Herzog. Roger is the executive director of CDAC, the Community Economic Development Assistance Corporation, and as a side note, was a colleague of mine for 21 years.
What an amazing day. And not just because we're dedicating Betty Greene Apartments. Today is the 250th anniversary of the start of the American Revolution. And we may need another one. A few years after Paul Revere's famous ride, CDAC lent acquisition funding to Urban Edge to buy 1599 Columbus Ave. And after that, we lent a second loan to buy 1595 and 1597 Columbus. And we committed the funds to buy that other building that Bill mentioned earlier. This was an amazing strategic acquisition by one of the most excellent community development corporations, not only in the city, but all across the state. They've been great partners for many years with CDAC. We're very proud to be part of this project. A quick note on the source of funding, because this did take a while, and it was very important that we brought low-cost acquisition financing to this deal. The first loan was sourced from Home Funders, which is a consortium of philanthropic foundations in Metro Boston, led by the Boston Foundation, with a mission of addressing family homelessness. And Emilio mentioned that a third of the units here are going to be targeted to extremely low-income families. The second loan, I'm really pleased to say, was another innovative acquisition loan product that the City of Boston created. This one was called the Vacant Site Acquisition Fund. Sheila dreamed it up after strong advocacy by CDCs across the city, and the idea was we need to buy sites now before they get all gobbled up by market rate developers. We need sites for affordable housing. This was the first loan that we made using the Vacant Site Acquisition Fund, and here we are dedicating the new building. It's a great day. Congratulations to the Greene family for this honor. As Bill said, many of the people involved in this have moved on. Sarah Barkin, who was our original project manager, is gone. Bill, who worked with us, is now here. But I am joined by Roberta Rubin, who's our Director of Housing Development and Preservation, and Claire Morton, who's our Senior Project Manager. So congratulations to Urban Edge and all our partners on this wonderful success.
Thank you, Roger. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one who can stand here in just a suit. So. We are coming to the close of our official program, but there's a few highlights that I just want to say. One is that we've recognized some of our former leaders of the organization, former staff, current staff, but quite honestly, none of this work that we do or have done over the past 50 and more years would be possible without the support of our board. We have several of our board members who are here. I think I see Sebastian. I know I saw Wanda and Bruce around. But, you know, I want to, and then Joey here, and Eddie. And so I want to really take this opportunity just to really thank them, because their leadership serves as the basis that allows us to be able to do all this work, and their fearlessness of not being able to take calculated risks and allowing us the opportunity to explain the risks, and then them having the trust and the confidence in us to be able to make things happen. So thank you to all of you. But I don't want everyone to kind of scramble out, because we have a couple things that we're going to be doing. One is that we want to move immediately in the next 2 minutes to the front of the building to do what's called the official ribbon cutting and photo. So we're excited about that. As many people who are interested can join. And then immediately afterwards, we're going to be doing a tour. So for those of you who are interested, we're going to be splitting people up into 2 groups, and we're going to be touring the building and at least 2 model units. So with that, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here and for staying warm despite the cold weather. Let's get that photo out.
3, 2, 1.
Snap! Cut!